What's up, Mortgage Coach community? Dave Savage. It is Tuesday, and I just finished the Tuesday interview today, and it was awesome. I interviewed Ryan Grant and talked about how he's getting business from CPAs and financial planners. Check it out. I'll put a link down below to that. But I have a special interview I want to do right now, and it's a little different than the typical interview I've done because I've got two awesome mortgage professionals. I've got Alex Metz, who is coached by Tim Brahim.
Alex
Say that
Cook.
again.
Alex Cook.
Alex Cook and Pete Metz.
There you go.
So Pete, real quick, you're coached by Tim, right?
Yes, yeah, I'm in the L360 group. I've been in the group since 2014, 2015.
And it was 2 years ago, I think we met having dinner with Tim at the mastermind event.
Yeah, we had dinner. I met you for the first time, Dave, and I had been using Mortgage Coach for I think about a year, and just kind of getting my feet wet with Mortgage Coach. And I use it religiously. I mean, I'm in there every single day. I live there more than I do in Compass or any other CRM. And most importantly, my clients absolutely love it. It's been really, really, really good. I've gotten a lot of loans because of Mortgage Coach.
Well, I appreciate that and all the families you're serving, but today I want to do this interview around leadership and how to fast track the success. In this case, Alex Cook, who's a new loan officer. So Alex, welcome to your first interview in the Mortgage Coach community, and welcome to the mortgage industry, dude.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Having watched your interviews from day one in the industry, I feel like I'm being interviewed by David Letterman here. It's pretty exciting. Serious, it's really exciting. It's an honor. Thank you.
Well, it's an honor to have people like you join the mortgage industry. And how long have you been in the space?
So technically about 6 months now. Just licensed at the end of December. So it's like my Christmas goal was to get licensed by then.
So licensed in December, and how many loans are you going to close next month or this month? Or however you're...
We're tracking for 20 right now.
Wow. So
that's
so guys,
really exciting.
Yeah, needless to say, that is phenomenal success for your first year in the business. And guys, I get it. It's a refi market, and a lot of people are having huge success. But hey, I don't care. 20 loans for a new loan officer. I know loan officers that have been doing this for 5 years, 10 years that aren't closing 20 loans. So I want to make the theme fast tracking your success as a new loan officer. And Pete, I'm gonna interview you a little bit, but also you and I are gonna interview Alex a lot.
Okay, yeah.
Around how do new loan officers become successful. So before we go to Alex, Pete, if you could just share, like, did you bring him into the business, or are you just managing it? So you brought him into the business and you're managing him. What are some of the things that you would just say to other leaders that, have to do with the hiring, the onboarding, to position him to where he's having this kind of success? Any thoughts on that?
Me and Alex went to high school together, and Alex actually lives in Indiana, and I live in California. So I don't know if you knew that piece of it, but so Alex is originating in Indiana, and Alex came to Reading. He'd come out every couple times a year for the last 3 or 4 years it's called Having a Business Conference. And we would catch up here and there. And he opened up just this last August. We had a conversation about him starting another business. And he asked me, what's the mortgage business like? And he kind of thought it was, a lot of, just a lot of numbers. He didn't realize you could actually have a real viable business and really grow a team and have a lot of and be able to also create and create more leaders. And that's what he loves. And he built an IT company to 15 employees. It's still running to this day, and he kind of worked himself out of the business with the IT company. And really, it just came down to Alex was already groomed in leadership. He already knew how to run a business, start a business, and really, it was just getting him, technically, the technical stuff on how to actually originate a mortgage. But Alex, his desire, his passion to help people, his passion, and he really cares about the customer. And he has a very good following where he lives in Indiana, and it's because of just who Alex is, and he just really cares about the people that he works with. So I think that it was just a no-brainer for him to get in the mortgage business, and it's you can definitely see the evidence of his of who he is.
So real quick, and how much production are you doing? What kind of volume do you do?
So I'll probably do about 60 million this year. My average year is about 40 to 45, and then I have four loan officers here locally. As a branch, we'll do about 120, 130 million this year. And so I have a few loan officers here, and then Alex was my first loan officer that I hired that was out of state, and it was very interesting. The first thing he asked me is, Pete, what do I need to do to be really successful in this business? I said, well, Alex, I think the first thing that you should do is go and find a very, very good processor in your market that really knows the business, that you don't really have to get into the weeds a lot. You could just give them your loans. And it just so happened, it was kind of like a perfect storm. We found an amazing processor there, and we hired them pretty quickly. And now we have 3 employees there with Alex. There's 4 people over there right now. And so Alex is well on his way to getting his own branch here within the year.
I love it. I love it. And I see that you use Mortgage Coach. I'm looking at the back end right now, and you've done 48 TCAs over the last 30 days, and you're a black belt in Mortgage Coach. When did you get Alex started to use Mortgage Coach? Like, was it day one, or was it a month into the business?
No, it was Alex. It was day one. We had a lot of late night calls going through Mortgage Coach. We just got on Zoom and shared our screens, and we would just go through. He would get a person. He's like, Pete, I got this deal. So then he'd watch me put into Mortgage Coach, and then I'd watch him, and then I'd help him fix it. And then, I mean, he's a pro at it now. I don't get any more questions on Mortgage Coach.
Hey, Pete, can I just say, Pete, that I learned how to do a Mortgage Coach before I knew how to take a proper application. So it was right away, Dave, right away.
Yeah, and I think not because I'm Mr. Mortgage Coach. I just think there's a lot of value in that, because it helped you learn how to be a mortgage strategist. Like you started the industry learning to be a mortgage advisor, and I think that's a mistake that a lot of loan officers start, learning to do a mortgage transaction. And there's no doubt you need to know how to do a mortgage transaction, but when you learn how to be an advisor and a transactional loan officer at the same time, it's a massive advantage. And would you say it was not only tactically an advantage, but emotionally, like it gave you confidence faster because you knew things that you knew other loan officers didn't know, and you were able to serve a family at a deeper level. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so a couple things. First of all, I could have done none of this without Pete. He was throwing me a lot of compliments, but honestly, I couldn't have asked for a better mentor in the business. It's a little bit hard sometimes because we are 3 hours time difference, but I'm kind of a night owl anyway. So by the time he's winding down from the day, my house is getting quiet, my kids are asleep. And so we usually get at least, I'd say 3 to 5 hours a week of just kind of coaching, talking through business strategy, customer service. I do have a business, audio, video, home automation business. So I was familiar with sales. I love sales. Honestly, I just love people. And because I love people and solving problems, sales just flow from that. So that piece I already had. What I was surprised about was how easy Mortgage Coach would make it and how much it would set me apart from the competition, because obviously I'm going into this knowing nothing about the industry other than everything I learned from 10 years of running my own business, and how to serve people well, how to build a great reputation, how to build a brand, things like that. But I was shocked at the very first Mortgage Coach that I did. It was kind of that friend from high school who we'd always kept in touch with, and she had a really bad interest rate, and it was a slam dunk. They easily qualified, but just they kind of let me practice through that, and I didn't have to be super nervous about it. And Pete helped me put it together, and showed me the ins and outs of it. But as I was walking them through that, and I don't know if Pete remembers this, he was on the call too, but she was just blown away. And they had just closed on their loan. I think we saved them like 1.25 points, 1.5 points. It was pretty drastic. And they had just closed on that loan 13 months prior. And so, they had went through a bank, and it was just this traditional, here's your amortization sheet, which I always make fun of. I always say, this is a lot nicer than looking at an amortization sheet. And they're like, yeah, you're not kidding, because everyone's seen that, just a bland amortization sheet that nobody even understands what it says or cares about reading. And she said, I just wish that the previous person had showed us this, because it's just cut and dry. Here's my two options. This is a cash out option. This is, buying some points down, and it's just cut and dry right here. And so people are so visual. I think everybody has a visual side to them. And if you could just see it, the way the mortgage coach lays it out, you spend way less time on deals, way less time answering questions. And it's just, what is there left to ask after you look at it lined up like that? It just makes it so easy. And I seriously have got a compliment off the presentation every single deal that I've shown.
I love that.
From the first one, even me fumbling my way through it, they just made it simple for me. It's like my training wheels. And now they've got a little more advanced. I've learned how to do some cooler stuff with it too. So,
well, I want to make sure anybody watching this, they kind of know some of your playbook to have this type of rapid success. And clearly, using Mortgage Coach was part of it. And think of that as the foundation to being a mortgage advisor. And you just heard, from the very first customer that he walked them through, he was able to get them to go, wow, my other loan officer didn't do this. The bank I did business with didn't do this. So anybody watching this, if you have new loan officers in your company or new loan officers that you're working with, yes, I'm Mr. Mortgage Coach, but not because I'm Mr. Mortgage Coach, because it helps them deliver more value, and it will help them improve their confidence faster, and of course their conversion faster. So what were some other things that have led to your success? Before you answer that, what is your primary lead source right now? Like what is the primary lead source to these 20 loans you're going to close?
Well, because the interest rates are so low, obviously I'm focusing on refis, and they're pretty simple to go through. I do have some realtors in the area that are kind of starting to, I think everybody at first kind of wants to, when you're branching into a whole new industry, and obviously I was working with homeowners, but I was putting in, home automation, smart home. So I knew all the builders in this area, knew some of the realtors, but, obviously I didn't interact a lot with them. But I think everybody kind of wants to look at you from a long way off just a little bit, and, doesn't want to be your first or anything. So I think now people are getting a little more familiar with me. I'm getting some referrals, and honestly, I'm sending a lot of referrals to realtors, which I think is probably getting their attention. So I would say about 70% probably come from Facebook, and the other 30% friends and family and previous client referrals.
When you say that 70% for Facebook, is that advertising? Like you're doing paid lead gen, consumer direct advertising on Facebook?
Yeah. So one of the biggest things that I pushed myself to be comfortable with was, and this came from one of your interviews actually, is just putting myself out there. And you know how awkward that is to do, to put yourself out there when, you're new to the industry. So I had to keep it simple, and really one of the most powerful things that you can tell somebody about is a true testimony, right? So as I was helping people and having single moms cry on the phone because I was saving them so much money, they didn't know they could do a cash out refi and pay off all this high interest debt. I was like, wow, I'm like changing people's lives. And that's when I really started to realize this was going to be an industry that literally checked all the boxes for me. When I kind of got into it with the mortgage coach stuff, and I know I'm kind of weaving around here, but to tie it in with what you said earlier about
this is perfect. You're killing it.
I truly feel like I'm a financial advisor to these people, and not that I'm qualified to be, but I mean, I've ran business, I understand finances, and a lot of people are just sitting on so much equity while they're being bled dry in interest on somewhere else. And so cash out refis has been a really exciting thing to show people. Switching people off and dropping their mortgage insurance is really exciting, because when you combine that with lower interest rates, it's just, double whammy. So I would say that the ability to change people's lives and to serve them well, it has made me so passionate about it that you got to realize they're also running out and telling their friends, hey, I'm saving an extra $500 a month now. So I'd say it's probably about 30% that comes from the client referrals and friends and family. Cause I'm not being shy either. I'm reaching out on Facebook. Pete said something in one of our coaching sessions when he was with the whole group. He said, guys, you know, I know you guys haven't been in the industry as long as I have, but this is one of the most prime times I've ever seen in my life, possibly the most prime time. He's like, just take your net and put it in the water. Like, these people need what you have. And it was almost kind of like, I know that sounds simple, but it really clicked with me. And I'm like, yeah, you don't have to be bashful when you're literally presenting something that's going to be good for somebody and changing somebody's life. With my previous business, I was talking them into buying, you know, home theaters and things that maybe weren't necessary. I mean, alarm system, I guess it's necessary, you know, having Wi-Fi, that's debatable. But I mean, everybody has a mortgage. And in this industry, it's like, you really do just need to put your net in the water. So that's when I started proactively reaching out to every single person on my friends list and literally just saying, hey, I'm doing free mortgage reviews. It takes me like 10 minutes to put it together in this cool software. And, you know, it just really, really helped me to have Pete kind of remind me that he's a strike while the iron's hot, and we do have something of value.
How big was because you have two audiences. You've got Facebook marketing, and guys, I can see the questions coming in. I'm going to ask him some questions on that, but I want to make sure everybody's hearing. He got in the mortgage business. He didn't have a past customer database of people he'd done a loan for, and he's closing 5 loans next month from his sphere of influence. And you heard the script. I mean, it's pretty simple, but how many friends and family did you start with, like in a database? And I'm calling, you know, to have that friends and family conversation. How many of those?
Man, friends and family, I guess, are you considering Facebook friends? I mean,
well, people that you called,
you kind of use that.
People that you called and said, hey, I'm in the mortgage business. And you
Yeah.
kind of did that script. Hey, rates
Yeah.
are really good. I can put them into this, you know, software and get you a total cost analysis. How many people fit in that audience? How many people are you calling?
Man, I would say that when I started copy and pasting my offer, which was basically like, hey, rates are super low, I'll take a look for you for free. You know, I didn't want to come across super salesy. You know, we all have the people on Facebook that it's like they're doing a new pyramid scheme every month, and, you know, they're hitting up their friends and family for, you know, whatever they're selling that month. So I didn't want to come across cheesy, but like I said, I didn't feel like it was cheesy, because it's like, hey, can I save you money? Like, who's going to get mad at that, right? Can I just a free look at saving you money? So I started copying and pasting the offer to probably about 30, 40 people a day. And out of that, I would get 3 or 4 leads that I could work up. And
okay,
then I'd have to turn it off a little bit.
Okay, so 30, 40 a day.
Facebook actually started warning me that I was spamming because I was copying and pasting too much. So I had to chill out a little bit.
That's all right. We're telling the real deal here. What about phone calls? How many did you call people, and just old high school buddies, or, you know, people in the local market? Did you make phone calls, or was it all email and digital?
Yeah, you know what? So I got so excited about it when I started to really, I think the biggest thing is realizing that you have something of value, right? And not only do I have something of value, but I have a way to present it that is super simple for people to understand. So once I got over that hump, I mean, I was already over the fear of rejection, which everybody has to come through if they're going to be in sales, right? I've done that for 10 years, and I feel like I have something of value. So basically, sorry, actually, what were you asking me, Dave? I totally lost.
How many phone calls? How many people have you called?
Oh, yeah.
So I did versus digital and Facebook, email and Facebook.
I'm sorry.
And I'm going to get to that, but I want to know, like, were you calling 3 people a day? Were you calling 10 people a day?
I didn't want to come across that way. And so honestly, I wasn't asking a ton of people. So I'd say my best friends is like, hey dude, you know, let me just take a look for you, kind of like as a favor. People who I'd feel close enough to, and they were super nice. And actually I killed it for one of my friends, and he ended up telling my other friends. And so I didn't have to ask a lot of people. Because word was traveling fast, and I haven't cold called like a lot of random people, and I'm being super, super sensitive with my previous database. I have 2,300 clients that I've served, and that know my reputation, that know I love people, that know we're going to take care of them from Pro IT Solutions, my other business. And I'm just being super, super sensitive with saying anything to them. I sent out one email blast announcing, hey guys, this is what I'm doing. Basically letting them know, like, I still love Pro IT, I'm still CEO, but I'm fine. I found a new way to serve you. You know, you have a home, Now I can offer mortgages. And so that's pretty much all I've done with that client database, because I just refuse to come across as, you know, like I'm just out there leveraging the relationship again for something new. And that's just me. I should be more bold with that. And I actually,
you will be when
yeah.
the time comes. So anybody listening to this, because there's two audiences listening to this. There's the loan officer that's like, I want to get a script, I want to get an idea, I'm new in the business, what did he do, I want to do that. So first you gotta, you know, we did have a guy who's a leader. We did start with a guy who is a good salesperson, knows how to build authoritative trust, and clearly he's a hard worker. You know, I mean, so you started with someone that's going to be successful. It's just a question of how fast and how big. And
Yeah.
and so that's cool. So on the Facebook side of things for lead gen, it sounds like you are doing some Facebook advertising. I'm guessing Bill Hillstad, you know, knowing that he's a friend of Tim's, you guys are all in the Tim's community. It's probably Bill Hillstad's interview with me that gave you some ideas.
Totally, yeah.
Are you spending money? Are you like, you know, spending
Yes.
$100?
Yeah.
How much money are you spending? Like what kind of investment?
Yep. And I apologize, Dave. You can probably tell I got a little adult ADD going on. So as I start talking, I got all these things I want to tell you about. But going back to kind of your original question, what I am doing on Facebook is, because I wasn't an expert, I just would tell testimonies. You know, hey guys, you know, this lady, you know, I was just able to save her $700 a month. She didn't know she was sitting on equity in her house. Kind of explain what a cash out refi is. And, you know, just posting that, I'd put $100 behind it. Yeah, I would just tell a story and put $100 behind it. And I think I would do like a 30, 25 mile radius, and, you know, have just tons of random people commenting on it. And obviously then you're inviting them to like your page. So it's hard to monetize because you're making impressions. It's not just, you know, how many did I get out of that one video? And here's the funniest part, Dave. This is actually really funny. So I've had multiple people tell me, they would call, hey, I saw your, and I always ask, obviously, I want to know how you heard about me. Oh, I saw your Facebook video and I just want to talk to the expert. And that just was such a mind-blowing thing for me. I promise you, over 12 to 15 people have said that. And I always start laughing because I'm just like, the expert, huh? Well, the funny thing is, it's all about perception and who's putting themselves out there. And so I think that the biggest part of just having success is knowing that you do have something of value that people need and that they want, but also just put yourself out there. I'm not talking about complex things that, you know, are going to make me feel super scared to put it out there. Like, oh, did I explain that properly? Or is a realtor going to like pick that apart and know that I'm kind of new? I'm just telling stories about who I'm helping, and that's it. And people love testimonies. They love exciting stories. So $100, 25-mile radius. And, you know, because the Facebook restrictions, you can't pick a lot of stuff. You know, it's a special ad placement for credit. So they don't let you narrow it down much more than that. But yeah, I would do about one of those a week. So that's about $400 a month. And it would obviously more than pay for itself.
So $100 a week, stories, talking about the ripple effect of your advice, leadership. And so really no more than $500 a month. And 6 months in the business, and you know, you're reaching out organically, you're reaching out with Facebook ads, and here we are. Anything else from a lead gen standpoint that we're missing, or a big idea, you know, that I want new people, or I want someone who, hey, I've been in the business for 5 years, but man, I'm only closing 3 to 5 loans this month. I want you guys to get inspiration and ideas that you can close 20 loans before this year is out, regardless of who you are.
I would say one of the big ones is, you know, working the people who you're already working with, you know, working them for more deals. So, you know, basically at the end of the process, I always ask them, you know, sometime after closing, you know, how was the process? You know, we're still new at this. Was the communication good? Is there anything I could have done better? And sometimes there's some feedback for me, and other times they're like, yeah, it's fine, whatever. Or it was really good. And then I always ask them, is there anybody that you know, friend or family, that could maybe benefit from this? And usually they'll give you at least 1 or 2 people that, oh yeah, John's buying soon. Or yeah, this guy at work is going to be doing something soon. Or wow, I saved so much money. I've already told 3 of my coworkers, you know, you better check your interest rates. And so you can usually get probably 1, 2, or 3 deals from each deal you're closing. So if you're closing 4 now, you should be able to get 12 easily. You just got to ask.
So guys, are you hearing that, man? I mean, here's a guy new in the business, 6 months. Now he is delivering mortgage advice. He's giving a total cost analysis, and you can tell he's showing how he cares in countless ways. He's a pro. And then he's being super intentional about getting referrals from every client. One of the best ideas I shared this year from the stage was Jeremy Forcier, who, I don't know if you heard that interview where he is asking people during the process. Have you heard that one where he waits till they say thank you and then he asks for, have you done that?
I actually think I got that from him. So
okay, so
give him full credit there.
Okay, so Jay Force, did you hear that? You gotta, and so you're doing that. Now here's the only difference between Alex and a lot of loan officers is he's doing these little things and he's doing it consistently. So are you telling me that of all the people that you bring in, the majority of them you're getting multiple referrals from? Almost everybody that you do a loan with.
Yeah, when I forget to ask, it's basically like burning money in a fireplace. That's how serious it is to ask for that and to ask for a review on Facebook, because when I'm new, the first thing everyone's going to do is go look at the reviews. And these are all things that Pete's pulling out of his playbook and telling me on our late night talks. And like I said, so much of the success has to do with riding on the coattails of someone who's been figuring this out for 17 years. So I'm definitely don't want to take all the credit. I think the one thing that definitely did boost me, obviously, is knowing for 10 years a lot of people in our community and having built a reputation of trust and caring about people and just doing the right thing. If I was brand new in a city where nobody knew me, then obviously it would be a little bit different of a start. Not that these things wouldn't still be working, but maybe not on that scale, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, all of, to have the kind of success you're doing, there's a lot of things that come into that. So we've got a live audience. If you have questions for either one of these gentlemen, Alex or Pete, let us know what they are. You've got to have it in your head. Oh, here's a comment from Wade Conway. You've got to have it in your head before you have it in your hand. And yeah, I think that's definitely a takeaway from today. So Pete, let's come back to you. You've heard this conversation. You know what he's doing to be successful. Is there anything else, whether it's someone listening that's a mentor like you that brought in a new loan officer, or let's just say is a mentor to a struggling loan officer, is there anything else you think we need to ask Alex that would be useful to either leaders or loan officers that want to go to the next level right now?
Oh man, I think a lot of it has to do with just your passion and loving what you do and loving the people around you. And that's really in any business, but I think that's a large part of Alex's success is just loving what he does, loving the people around him, and then having a product that actually is able to help the people that he loves and cares so much about. So that's that's the only thing that I would add is he's very passionate. So I appreciate Alex. I mean, our friendship has grown quite a bit through this whole process, and I can't wait to continue to grow with him. So.
Yeah, and I also got to say, Dave, it doesn't hurt that our rates are better than everybody's around here. So if I had a product that I couldn't compete with, I wouldn't honestly be very interested in doing it. So we have some really, really good offerings, and I'm confident in what I'm selling. So that comes from Pete, and again, the connections that he has and being in the right place, right time with the right company. So
cool. So let's do this. I want to always get a mortgage coach story. Before they do that, I want to show a post I made on this. Just speak to it for a minute. So this whole conversation happened because Alex sent me an email a week ago, and it was, first of all, the power of a thank you. I don't want to say I get a lot, but I get texts, I get emails, but I mean, this one was just super thoughtful. Took the time to say thank you. And I want to tell you, Alex, it did mean a lot to me. I really appreciated that I got this email from you. You described your story from a leadership perspective, all the leaders that had helped you, and that I knew them. So guys, I would just remind everybody the power of a thank you is important. And are you saying thank you enough to people? I think that was another thing. that over the weekend, I don't know if you guys saw the interview I did with Hunter Markowert, another just amazing leader. I interviewed him on Friday because he was just talking about a loan officer that he mentored that said thank you to him and said it in a way that just like defined who he was. So I want to just talk about the leadership story here, because this story would have never happened if Tim Brahim didn't use Mortgage Coach and wasn't an active leader to push people to be coaches to do it. And then it would have never happened if Pete, one, didn't adopt, and then two, didn't mentor someone. So I'm gonna close out with some specific tactical advice, but I want anybody that is watching this, it's a story of leadership. And then you could just hear Alex. It's a story of him, although he is a leader, he is at a point where he's being humble and he is being really coachable. He's being available to his coach and he's taking action on what he's being coached to do. You can even tell him he's like watching Mortgage Coach YouTube channel interviews. He's hearing ideas and he's putting them into action. Mm-hmm. So again, two sides of leadership that made this story happen. Also want to remind everybody watching this that we do have a new loan officer playlist in our YouTube channel. So I don't know if you've listened to all those interviews, but guys, there's a place, if you're a new loan officer listening to this, we do have a playlist. I'll put a link down below at some point. So which one of you wants to be the Mortgage Coach TCA? Because some people might be watching this and are like, okay, what is this TCA? And then there are some people that are on it that are like black belts and red belts, have done hundreds and thousands of Mortgage Coach TCAs, but which one of you guys wants to be the one to share your desktop and walk through a TCA?
I think the one you have right now is Pete. So let's have Pete do that.
So Pete, I want to take the angle around this, that you're going to show a TCA in a story that's mortgage advice, but I also want you to take it from the approach that you were able to successfully onboard Alex and show it to him and get him to go, I need to use this thing. I really want you to show it to the Mortgage Coach community, almost like I'm a leader. You're a mentor to anybody watching this video.
Yeah.
So like why should they use Mortgage Coach? And then how? And then show us a TCA and walk us through it.
Okay, perfect. So the one that I have here is, he had called me, as a past client, he called me for just a regular refi. He wanted to look at a 15-year mortgage. And he said, hey, what's your rate on a 15-year mortgage? So I basically got a mortgage statement from him. I said, hey, give me your mortgage statement, and I'm going to kind of put together some options that you have on a 15-year mortgage. And so once I share this with you, you'll kind of see the power of this, of why the Mortgage Coach is so powerful, and why you should really learn this program. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
So when you show it to a family, do you call it a total cost analysis or do you call it something else?
You know, I call it a total cost analysis, but I also just say it's, I'm going to show you some options. I'm going to compare your current mortgage. Whoops, that's really large. Sorry. I'm going to compare your current mortgage with.
We see you.
Yeah, sorry.
Don't worry about it.
Okay. So basically, I'm going to compare your current mortgage with some new options, and you'll be able to see a side-by-side comparison. And then I say it's a total cost analysis of exactly what your loan will be. So for some reason, this is like, I'm going to have to.
Well, we can see it close enough. I mean, it's getting smaller now, but now it's a little far out.
It's kind of jumping around on you, huh?
All right, we'll try that. See.
Yeah, this is good enough. We can see it.
All right. So basically, so here was his current mortgage. He was at 4% interest rate, and here was his payment. He wanted a 15-year mortgage. So, you know, of course, here's the 15-year loan. You know, 2.6, 15 years. His new payment would be 31, or basically an extra $400 a month. He's going to have this paid off currently on his current pay is 25 years, and he'll have it paid off 15 years for an extra 400, which is good, you know. But with this guy, you know, he is a contractor. He's a superintendent for a construction company, and yet right now income is very, very good. And so at times, like if I put him in a 15-year mortgage, you know, what happens if things slow down? And he had that concern too. He was like, yeah, Pete, you're right. And so basically I showed him, okay, well, you could do a 30-year mortgage at 3.1 and you can make a 15-year payment and you pay it off in 15, a little over 15 years. He's like, wow, that actually is a great idea, because, you could actually make, if things got tight, you could fall back on the 30-year payment, which he's saving $400 a month here. Now, where the magic really happened and where he really got excited about this is I said, now you could do this. And he's like, yeah, let's do the 30-year option and make the 15. I said, well, I actually have a kind of a better idea for you. I said, instead of putting all that money into the mortgage again, you're only saving 3.1% on your mortgage. Why not give this to your financial planner? And I said, do you have a financial planner, by the way? He said, no, I actually don't. He's like, I've been thinking about getting one. I said, well, here's what you actually could do is you could make this same 30-year payment, and you could actually, instead of giving this to the mortgage, give it to your financial planner, because look, if things did get tight, you're going to have to pay me again to get that money back out of your mortgage. Like if things got tight and you needed this money, you'd actually have to pay me fees to refinance. And you're also going to, by the way, you're going to have to actually qualify to get the mortgage. And so what you're going to, what you could do is you give this to a financial planner. And this is really powerful, because in 15 years, you can see what his loan balances are. So let's say he gave that same $900 extra from what his new 30-year payment would be. So basically his payment would be $2,200. And if he made the 15-year payment and actually paid the difference and gave it to a financial planner, so we're talking about $927, instead of applying it towards a principal, he gives it to financial planner. And my financial planner, very conservatively, 6% rate of return. If you look at this here over 15 years, the balance of his, this is 5 years. The balance of his mortgage is going to be $239,000. But look at this, he's going to have $270,000 in cash in 15 years. And that's $30,000 difference at a 6% rate of return. And get this, this is the best part. If something happened to him, he's a superintendent for a construction company. If he gets laid off, things slow down. Look at this. He's got a bunch of cash that he doesn't have to worry about it. And here, yeah, he's got all this equity in his mortgage, but he's going to have to pay me again to access this cash. But in 15 years, if he wanted, he could actually just pay off this loan balance, and he'd have $30,000 left over. And if you look at this in 15 years versus the 30, this is $27,000 plus $30,000 difference of what his cash is. It's $60,000 difference. That's the power of this mortgage coach, and why I'm so stoked that I get to use this program every day. And even on the 15-year at 2.6%, yeah, his balance is zero, but look, he doesn't have any cash left over. He's $30,000 less in 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
So guys, the takeaway on this is it's transformational value, and it's virtual digital education. You noticed as he was walking through that and he was highlighting things, I did put a link. Pete had shared this TCA with me before the call, and I put a link in the Facebook group. So for all of you people watching it on Facebook, whatever he clicked on, it was highlighting. So he was giving really precise virtual education to the client, and that's called Mortgage Coach Live. So not only was it a powerful mortgage strategy, he was able to teach it super effectively in a virtual environment. Pete, just watching you do that, I get the feeling you use that feature a lot, the live feature. Yes. Do you?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I've probably done 3 of these this month, and my financial planner has gotten 3 referrals from me this month already, and we're only on the 7th of the month. So he loves it. I've showed my financial planner the program. He loves it.
So guys, the topic when I interviewed Ryan Grant this morning was how to wow financial planners. Guys, that was, what Ryan Grant's doing, this story and strategy, it's beautiful. And I'm sure you were influenced by Craig Strent. I know he's a part of Tim's crew, and he's
I love
also a
Craig.
master. Craigie, yeah.
Yeah.
So Alex, do you also use that live feature a lot where you're walking people through it with the highlighter?
So I really do prefer to do the live feature. I like the personal connection. It's just, it's huge as far as, and I also like to have the husband and wife, if there is a husband and wife, to be together, because sometimes you'll explain it to one, and by the time they get to the other one, and I noticed that even when I was doing sales with my previous company, or, you know, my current company that I don't work in anymore, is that, you know, if you really want them both together so that you can just get them on the same page right away, because you can build trust with one of them, and then that gets lost in translation. Well, yeah, honey, you showed me, it was really cool. I don't really remember. It's somewhere in here, and they're clicking around, and I'm like, just please, if at all possible, give me some time in the evening. I promise it'll take 5-10 minutes, get the husband and wife at the same time, whatever. Now, every now and then when somebody's super, super busy and I can't catch them for like a whole week, I'll just do a recording, and I'll send them the recording, and it's got my little video there and stuff. So
you are adding videos.
Yeah.
What about you, Pete?
I try to do the live though, if possible.
Yeah, no, I always think anytime you could give that live education, and then guys, remember the video, sometimes not everybody was on the call, and maybe a husband and wife was on the call, but a father-in-law that's loaning him a down payment, or a buddy at work who's like the real estate wizard. Pete, what about you? Do you use the video feature much, or mainly Mortgage Coach Live?
You know, I like Alex, I try to do it in person. I've been doing a lot of live Zoom calls, and it actually works out amazing, just like we are right here. And we have the face-to-face interaction, and then I can share my screen, and then they can see it right there and ask their questions. And then when we're done, I'll actually email them the link. But if I don't have the ability to talk to them like this, or if they aren't able to come in, for sure I'm doing the video absolutely every time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So guys, this has been awesome. I mean, it's been a great first interview with both of you. You know, Pete, thank you for your leadership. Alex, thank you for taking the time to write a note and being successful with our product. And I'm really proud of you, dude, you know, to be in the business for as long as you are and to create the impact that you are. Great job on that. Yeah. So I'm going to give you guys each closing thoughts. So Alex, I'm going to let you go first, and Pete, you're going to anchor it. And Pete, the question I'm going to bring to you, just so you have time to think about it, because you've been doing this for a long time, you've been coached by Tim, you have mentored, now you've got a guy who you brought in that's killing it. So I want you to give advice to all the mentors out there. So you're going to give closing thoughts on mentors. And then Alex, I want you to speak to two audiences right now. One, new loan officers that have been doing this for less than a year, and two, loan officers that aren't closing more than 5 loans a month. Like, if you're not closing 5 loans a month right now, I think you're a great inspirational story to say that it's here for you, dude. Like, Facebook is an option, your past customer database. So Alex, speak to all the struggling loan officers and new loan officers and give them some closing thoughts.
Yeah. Do you want me to address them separately or together?
However you want to do it.
Well, let's just say, I guess some of it might apply to both. I think the biggest thing is one, in any sales field, right? Because that's really what this is. You have to believe that you have something of value. I mean, if you think that you are just peddling, you know, snake oil or whatever, you know, just go find something else to do, you know, that you can be passionate about so that you can be successful. We have a very special opportunity right now with not only interest rates being low, but something that never changes is that you're dealing with people that are making probably the biggest financial decision of their life, whether they're purchasing or refinancing. It's a huge honor for them, because you're either saving them money with a refinance or with a purchase. You know how excited you were when you got your first house, or any house for that matter. It's an exciting moment in your life. And so you have something of value that should make you passionate and fired up. And that's the biggest thing, is, you know, just having that passion. And then two, just going out and doing it, just putting in the work. I mean, we can spend so much time thinking about strategy, and I'm guilty of this sometimes too, actually, is building this strategy. And literally you're just spend all this time, think of the strategy like a boat. You spend all this time perfecting the boat. And in the meanwhile, the water's drying up, you know? And so just run out there and just try it, right? And it might be a little bit messy and you're going to screw up. This is especially to the new people. You're going to screw up and you're going to learn from it, but you have to put yourself out there. And that was the hardest part for me with copying and pasting to the Facebook friends, was just getting over how that might annoy some people, or, you know, whatever. But at the same time, having so many people say, you know what, thank you so much. We've been talking about that for months. We just don't know who to use, or we haven't gotten around to it. You're going to do that for me for free? Well, thank you for doing that. You know, and that is, I started to see that people really appreciating it. It got easier, but I would have never known had I not just put myself out there to begin with. So many people are just sitting back thinking about what to do. You have to do it. I always say God can steer a moving ship, but he can't get you going. Like, it's your initiative that gets you going, and then he can steer you, right? And you can learn from your mistakes.
Love that. Alex, would you be mind sharing, you said cut and paste. So there's something that you are a message. Would you
want
sharing
my secret
that?
sauce? You want my secret sauce?
Come on, man.
you're gonna laugh. You're gonna laugh.
So
out
by the way,
words.
you can save it or you can edit it, but will you share some cut and paste that any
I'm
loan
totally
officer?
joking.
I know you are, bro.
It's nothing crazy here.
So he's gonna put that in the Facebook group. Check it out, guys. So Pete, if you could address all the mentors on this call, and it could be a branch manager that just has loan officers that they are responsible for their success, or it could be a mentor that's bringing in a new loan officer right now. What wisdom and advice would you want to close out with, Pete?
Thanks, Dave. This interview has been awesome. So I read a book recently. It's called The Culture of Empowerment. And it really kind of turned the light bulb on. And, you know, I'm definitely not the perfect leader. And the biggest thing for me is looking at people and believing in them more than they believe in themselves, and finding that thing that they're just amazing at, and really promoting that and encouraging them, and really just shedding a light and giving them belief in who they are as a person. I think that if you can do that with your whole team, not just with the loan officers, but, you know, your staff and your assistants, and finding that amazing ability, that amazing talent that person has, and really calling it out and believing in them more than they believe in themselves. That's helped me out, a lot. And I really recommend that book, The Culture of Empowerment.
Love it. And so here's just a closing thought I have on that after hearing that is every loan officer in America right now is capable of closing 10 loans a month. You know, I think 20 requires a certain amount of work ethic, and not everybody is going to get after it enough to close 20 in a month. But I believe that anybody and everybody should be closing 10 or more. And so managers out there, you know, hopefully you believe the same. And I guarantee you, most branches don't have every single loan officer in the branch closing over 10 loans a month. So kind of my takeaway from hearing you is you gotta believe that they can achieve that.
Absolutely, yes.
And then you've got to put the time in. I mean, hearing you guys talk, it's clear to me that you're there for him. And hearing him talk, it's clear that, you know, you're there and he looks at you as someone that helps me. Not someone that, you know, because sometimes as managers and leaders, we're like helping and we're making people's jobs harder. You're clearly someone that he's looked at as someone that's making his job easier. And then and the last thing, guys, I am Mr. Mortgage Coach, but I just think it's more evidence that the total cost analysis is not just a conversion tool to improve trust and respect at the point of sale. Yes, it does that, but it's deeper than that. You know, it's a way to give transformational advice to a family, and it also is a way to change from the inside out. Like, and Pete, think about it. You know, the years before you used Mortgage Coach, and now that you use Mortgage Coach, do you like your job more? Do you feel like you're more valuable than before you use Mortgage Coach?
Absolutely. More confidence. It's given me just a ton more confidence to share with people, and it's less intrusive. You know, they get the whole picture right there, and it makes me feel really good that I'm presenting something that's so easy to read, and it has all the information there that they can make a really good educated decision. And most of the time they're going to make the right decision.
Love that. So, hey, could you show, pull your screen up one more time and actually log into the advice engine? I want to close out everybody with a thought. And
Yeah.
one of the things I'm most pumped that we added, if you go to the settings, like open up the advice engine and then go into the settings. So now go to settings in the upper right hand corner next to help. Click on settings. So guys, we've gamified this thing. You can see that he's done 455 TCAs.
Oh wow.
You can see that he's a black belt. If you click that little box just to the right of your black belt where it says TCAs created with a box.
Right here?
To the right of that. Where it says TCAs created, that little box. It's got an arrow pointing out of it. Right. Oh, you were almost there. No, put your mouse over the black belt badge. And then just to the right where you see a little box with an arrow pointing out, where it says TCAs created, and there's a little box with an arrow pointing, boom, there we go.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So guys, there it is. There is the path. And we can see that Alex is almost that brown belt. And Alex, I do want to interview you again once you hit brown belt of 100 TCAs. But anybody watching this, I'm always not selling to make you a member of Mortgage Coach. Yes, I would love for you to be a member of Mortgage Coach, but I am always selling that every family you do a loan with should get a TCA, and that we've got these badges that you could go through in this process you could go. So anyways, you can stop sharing the screen. No, that's total all-time TCAs.
Got it.
But we are gonna be upgrading some of our dashboards, and you can stop sharing your screen now, by the way. Let's close out with videos. So guys, if you got value from today's call, give it a like. If you loved it, love it. I'm gonna try to get Alex back in a couple months when he hits brown belt and has that 20 loan month under his belt. Little accountability for Alex to execute.
Yes, all right, no pressure. Yeah. Hey, Dave, also I did copy and paste the secret sauce into the underneath your video there where you're live streaming in the mastermind group. So it's like I said, it's super simple, but it should be simple so it doesn't come across salesy. You're just offering something of value.
Yeah, I love it. And I'm actually doing a project with Bill Hillstead right now. You should keep an eye on it, where we're going to come up with different call to actions that are lead magnets for a TCA. So different ways.
Yes.
So we're going to add some sentences to that would generate more leads, where people are like, hey, I want that.
Nice.
Whatever.
And where's this going to be? Where's this going to be found at? Just an interview, or how do I find this?
Yeah, we're creating some content. There is actually a prototype presentation right now that I will put in a thread here. So it's a Google Doc, and you guys will just see some, like, call it Facebook wrappers, so that, like, think if you put a video and then you had a wrapper around it. We're going to make them prettier, and we're going to come up with some headlines. By the way, Alex, if you want to participate in the study that we're doing and the best practice we're creating, that would be kind of fun if you're game.
Yeah, totally. I would love to be involved.
Cool.
I love the community you're building, and for you, it's obvious it's not just about selling some software package. You know, it's about helping people and about a community. I love the community. I've learned so much just from the people you've interviewed. So I really do appreciate it. I probably owe you a commission check or two.
Well, feel free, bro. No, I'm
PayPal,
kidding. Yeah. So, hey guys, thanks a lot, man. Really appreciate this. Everybody tuning in. Hopefully you got some value. Have an awesome day. This call is a wrap.